A few months back, we did a review right on this channel of drip jobs. And in that video, we went over a lot of the basic features and tools that you have with the drip jobs CRM and platform. But since we did that video, there have been a ton of new updates, new features, new integrations. So I thought it was right to do a second review, an updated review of drip jobs. And if you don't know what drip jobs is, it is a CRM designed for home service companies and specifically painting contractors. And if you want to test out drip jobs, you want to give it a try, we have a 60-day free trial available. If you use code T60 at checkout, you can use our special discount. So click the link below and give it a try. If you like what you see here in this video. A large majority of the clients that we have at our marketing agency, a lot of our painting contractors use drip jobs. So I think that gives us a super unique perspective of what they like, what they don't like, and how they feel about a lot of these new features rolling out here, as well as our own opinion, because we're in here every single day. So if you don't have a CRM yet, and you're just kind of writing your leads down on paper, or maybe giving estimates in person on like a template that you have, I think it's important to kind of go over why this actually matters and why you need a CRM in your business. The first thing here is going to be to track all of your leads. Simply put, if you are not tracking your leads, you are losing out on opportunities and business. If you don't know how many leads you have coming in, where they're coming from, and if you're able to follow up on those properly, you're just not going to be squeezing the most out of your leads. And it's really, really hard to make accurate business decisions if you don't know where your leads are coming from and what's happening with them. How many of those are turning into estimates? How many of those are turning into closed jobs? You have no idea unless that's tracked. So that's what a CRM is going to help you do. It's going to help you organize everything so that you can grow and scale your business. And once you actually get those leads in, there's systems in place to follow up with those leads automatically. Drip jobs, what they have is they have 40 automatic pre-built emails and text messages for you, so that when a new lead comes in, they're already going to get an email and text that says, hey, welcome to our company. This is a little bit about what we do. Click here to get your estimate scheduled and so on. There's a lot of stuff there. But basically, after you send out a proposal and other things like that, they're going to automatically follow up with you. That's another reason why this is important. It's going to help you squeeze the most out of all of your leads here. And it's also going to help you manage that workflow once those leads turn into jobs, manage scheduling, things like that. And not just track, the lead numbers, but also your sales. How many sales are going to each salesperson? Is one person outperforming the other, or so on? These are all important numbers and decisions that you need to make as a business owner, and this is going to help you have the tools in order to do that. So that's kind of why this all matters, and some of the things I want you to think about when you're looking at this review here. So I'm going to hop into my computer here, and I'm going to go over some of the brand new features in our review of them at Taurify. So this right here is the Drip Jobs CRM. This is one of our demo accounts here. And the first thing that I wanted to go over is the actual updates to the sales pipeline itself. As you can see, it looks way different than our last video here. And some of the updates are along the lines of tracking things better and a little bit better organization. And one of the key things that I wanted to highlight here are these labels. So you now have the ability to label something to make sure that everyone's on the same page, the sales team, the salespeople, they all know what's kind of going on here. So maybe you're waiting for a reply from somebody. Maybe you left them a voicemail. Maybe they had to reschedule, or maybe this is a commercial job, or maybe it's a hot opportunity, somebody who you really think is going to close. You can actually pin this stuff on here so you can organize things a little bit better, and there's more transparency amongst the sales team. So super, super awesome there. Also, I think it just kind of looks a little bit more clean. Nothing, crazy in terms of updates, but just cleaned up and a little bit nicer. The next thing that I wanted to go over are these drips. Now, since our last review, there haven't been too many crazy updates to the drip section here. However, it is important to notice that these are all built out for you for the sales pipeline and the jobs pipeline. So once a job is actually scheduled and on the calendar, there's going to be updates and things like that to make sure that everybody's kept in the loop there. And the big update here is on the text message side. And this is something that I really, really liked that they changed here. So if you can see here in this demo account, It does say that text messages are disabled. But now what you can do is you can add on text messaging directly through drip jobs. So all of your texts with clients back and forth, all that can be kept right here in the system, opposed to on a salesman's personal phone or somewhere over here on your personal device or whatever. It's all in one spot. So that makes setup and communication a lot better. So multiple people can respond. And what that's actually going to do is when you set that up here, it's going to add in this little chat section. Kind of where it says DJ Academy, there's going to be something that says chat. And that's a spot where you can text back and forth with people. This used to be kind of a mess because you had to use Twilio. If you've ever created a business phone number before, you know it can be kind of a hassle because you have to get something called A2P registration. Basically what that means is you're registering your phone number with your business, and it's something to help reduce scams and a bunch of blast text messages to people who don't want them. So you have to register your phone number. And what you can actually do is you can do all of that through drip jobs here, opposed to using a third-party place. You can do everything through here, and they help you with that A2P registration. So you're not going to have to do a lot of crazy stuff that you would on Twilio before. It's all right here. I think that's nice because as an agency owner, we deal with A2P all the time, and it can be annoying. It can be a pain. And if you've never done it before, it's really nice to have somebody that helps you and kind of holds your hand through that. So the setup on texts is now a lot simpler. So I definitely really like that. The next thing that I wanted to go over is the calendar. This is something that I think was worth reviewing, and we didn't talk too much about in our last one. There are a couple of really cool things that you can do here. First off, you can filter by different users. So you can see, hey, does salesman 1, does salesman 2, what do they have going on which day? And you can also integrate this with Google Calendar. So for example, if you connect this to your Google Calendar and you have Friday blocked off, it'll say that Caleb or this salesperson has Friday blocked off in the calendar here. So it'll show up. So when you're scheduling, you can see, okay, salesman number 1 is not going to be at work on the 16th, so don't schedule anything with them there. That's awesome. That's really nice. It helps for connectability and making sure that things don't get double booked there. However, there are a couple of updates that I would personally like to see here in the calendar most specifically. I think the calendar is where I could see the most new work being done, and I'd like to see the most improvements here. Number 1 is I wish that blocked off time actually restricted you from being able to book an estimate. So for example, if salesman number 1 is not going to be here on Friday, I can still schedule an estimate. I wish there was an option to make that not happen. I want to make sure that if somebody's not available, then it does not even allow you to book an estimate. So for example, we have a couple of spots here. I could double book myself if I did that. And I think that if we removed that option, it would lead to a lot less mistakes with jobs getting double booked and things like that if your admin is not paying as close attention. Another thing that I think would be really cool here is some kind of route optimization. So if you have 3 estimates on one side of town and then your 4th one of the day, your last one's on the other side, they get organized properly so that you can go to the next estimate when it's closest, so that you're not jumping back and forth from one side of town to the other. And I wish there was a way to kind of organize this better and optimize your route for the day so that things are not just all over the place in terms of location. Now, you can choose to do this manually right now, but I think it'd be cool if there were some sort of features in order to help us with that. Overall, though, the calendar does the job. It does what it needs to do. But I think that there are just a couple things that could make it even better. The next new feature that I really, really wanted to highlight here is Drip Jobs is now offering financing. This is something that literally just rolled out a couple days ago, and it's super cool to finally see this in here. And they've done this by partnering with Acorn Finance. This is it right here, and I'm gonna read this for you real quick. How does the Acorn integration work? Drip Jobs now integrates with Acorn Financing, allowing you to offer financing options to your customers at no cost to you. So a lot of other financing companies, what they'll do is they'll charge you as the contractor 4 or 5% on those financing jobs. But Acorn doesn't do that. The fees are a lot better, and it's super, super nice to have this in here because at checkout, a customer can pay with a credit card. They can, that's done through Stripe. They can pay through cash, bank transfer or whatever. Or if they choose to have the financing option, they can do that. I am all for offering as many ways to pay as possible. Something like finance, You may not use it a whole lot. There might not be a whole lot of people financing certain jobs, but if it helps you close one extra job, just one, it's absolutely worth it by a mile. So I definitely think it's a really cool thing to have in here and available to your customers. Next up is there are a lot of brand new integrations with a company called Zapier. So if you're not familiar with Zapier, what they are is they are a automation software. What that means is you can create certain automations so that when one thing happens, another thing happens. For example, when a job is marked as complete, an automatic email sends out to the customer asking them for a review. That is an example of an automation that you can build. And Zapier can help you connect certain things together. So this basically just opens up the possibilities that you can do with drip jobs and maybe other current softwares that you could be using. Some of the new triggers and actions that they have in Zapier now are going to be the proposal viewed. So now every time a customer views a new proposal that you send out, you can actually see that, and you can set something up in Zapier to send out a notification or something to your salesperson when that happens. So for example, when Susan looks at the proposal that you sent out, your salesperson will get a notification that says, hey, they viewed this, so that they can use that information to help close that sale. There's a lot of other cool ones, but that is just scratching the surface here. If you don't have Zapier, I definitely consider taking a look at it. It's one of the most important and powerful tools that you can have in your business. Moving along here to the next review topic, that is going to be education. And I think that this is one of the biggest pushes that Drip Job has been making recently, both in education as well as in support. But starting off at education, they have recently launched the Drip Jobs Academy. And what that is it's a full library of tools that you can use to learn how to use Drip Jobs better and also squeeze the most out of it. And there's two that I'm going to highlight for you here. This one right here, which is the Welcome to Drip Jobs 101. This is going to help teach you exactly everything that you need to know on how to get started. If you're new to a CRM or you've never really used something like this before, this is going to be your great first step. When you start anything brand new, like a software, it is going to take some time to get used to it. There's no doubt about that, just being honest here. However, the better that you and your sales team know how to use this, the more that you can squeeze out of it and the more profitable you can run your business. So definitely take a look at this short section of courses here. There's a lot of cool value in this one. Now, the other one that I'm going to highlight here is going to be Production Rate Estimating 101. This is by Aiden Smith from Paint Pro Coaching. Massive shout out to Aiden. He's awesome and a good friend. He will teach you how to use the production rates so that you can estimate properly and just make sure that you are giving accurate numbers in a timely manner as well. If you're waiting 1, 2, 3 days to be sending out proposals, it's really hard to close those jobs and capitalize on the momentum of that sale. So that is another one that I would definitely recommend checking out. I really like this push into education that they're making here because the more you know how to use the tools, the more money you can make. Now, the next big item on the review list here is going to be the support. Drip Jobs has been dumping a ton of investment into their support team. I think since the last video we've made, they basically doubled the size of their support staff. So that's going to help to make sure that you always have questions answered, you always know what's going on, and there's a lot of other cool sessions and trainings that you can have here with support if you need it. So basically, if you ever have a problem at all, you can hop on with a support rep in a quick Zoom call and they'll be able to help fix it. Or you can just send them a little chat in the little option at the bottom left here. But a couple of the support things that I wanted to highlight are right here in the top right corner. So if you just click on your name, you can see a couple of these, and I wanted to bring these to your attention because I think they're cool. Right now, they're offering a refresher session, which is basically just, catching you up on certain things. Maybe your admin could take this or you could take this. A setup, this would be something that you would do right out of the beginning. An expert job costing session, an expert production rate session, an expert Zapier session. So they're going to, teach you how to connect everything, teach you how to do all this stuff and really hold your hand here. And then there's also a weekly roundtable. This is going to be where you can kind of hop into a Zoom call and they're going to give you certain updates and trainings on how to use certain new features like financing, for example. There have been a lot of updates there, so I really like that. Overall, I think that Drip Jobs is an amazing platform for your home service business. There are a ton of tools, trainings, and options for you with this software. This is one of the best softwares in the world for running a painting company. From the clients that I see that don't use anything, and then the clients that I see that use drip jobs, there is literally a night and day difference. This is something that with our clients, we require you to use a CRM. Like that is literally, if somebody comes on to us at Taurify, we're like, listen, the absolute very first step is we got to get organized because you're going to have no idea what's going on if there's not a good amount of organization there. And that's why we recommend drip jobs to them. The only real drawback that I see currently is on some of those calendar features that I mentioned. But I do know, based on the drip jobs forums that I've been on, that is something that the team at drip jobs and the developers have actually been working on. So I don't know exactly what features are going to be coming, but I do think that that's kind of like my personal, what I'd like to see here. Overall, just in the last couple of months in this last video that we made, there have been a ton of new features. And I think that's what you really want to see when you're picking a company like this. You want to see them always improving and growing to make the product better for you. I think that the pros absolutely outweigh the cons here. And if you are looking for a CRM for your painting company, I highly recommend taking a deep look at drip jobs. And if this only helps you, if all of the lead automations, all of the tracking, everything like this, being more professional on estimates, if all of that only helps you close one extra job, that pays for itself for years and years to come. So if you want to give drip jobs a try for absolutely free, click on the link below and at checkout, type in the code T60 to get 60 days for free. I hope you enjoy.